Hello and welcome to Overfed and Undernourished. My name is Father William Maestri, and I'm so glad to have you with us today. When we walk into our favorite restaurant and sit down, one of the first things that we're presented with is a beautiful menu. We open up and we look at all the wonderful things that's in store for us. Well, each and every day, our culture lays out before us a menu. Things that will educate us, nourish us, things that will entertain us, inform, and it is a cultural menu. And here before us, in a rather untraditional way, is the cultural menu that we have. And that menu is meant to feed our physical being, it's meant to feed our mind, and above all, it's meant to feed our soul. Those three elements are fundamental and essential. For example, technology. Technology is prominent in so much of our daily menu. Our cell phones, our computers, and all of the other technological wonders that surround us every day and which we couldn't imagine today living without. But we have our technology that's big on the menu of everyday life. We have the menu that features entertainment, sports. We also have entertainment in terms of singing, orchestration, music, all of those things that entertain us and give us a release from the humdrum of everyday life. I'm holding here a famous picture of the Sands Hotel with the famous Rat Pack, Joey Bishop and Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, and the chairman of the board, of course, Frank Sinatra. And we're also naturally filled with a tremendous variety of foods, all those things that feed us physically. So the physical, the mental, the technological, the informational age in which we live, but also we have to feed our soul. Our soul, the spiritual dimension of our life. And that's where our faith comes in. We're fed by the Bible, sacred scripture. We're fed by the body and blood of Christ at the Eucharist. Simple bread and wine, they're offered to us. In looking at all of these things that are on the menu of our everyday life, the question always is, and the challenge, and actually it's really the great adventure, the delight of living. We have to try to get these things in balance so that our physical being, our mental, and also our spiritual are nourished every day. The challenge is, of course, to keep these in balance. We don't want all food, otherwise we begin to ruin our health. We don't want all entertainment because then we don't do the necessary tasks and responsibilities that face us. And we don't want to become absorbed totally and completely in our technology that can easily cut us off from other people, from other forms of interacting other than with a machine. And we also want our spiritual life, our religious faith, to also fill the whole of our everyday life and not just become isolated or separate from all of these things. We look at our entertainment, we look at our technology, we look at our food, we look at our spiritual life, the feeding of the soul, real soul food. And the real challenge is to integrate these into a really human way of living each day. It's so easy to get out of balance. We can easily become absorbed in this, in our technology. We can become absorbed in our entertainment, whatever form of entertainment it is. We can become food-aholics, so to speak. And we can become so absorbed, let's face it, in our spiritual and in our religious faith that we forget the ordinary everyday concerns of others and also the concerns of those within our family. So it is to integrate these, because all of these are good things, or at least neutral in and of themselves. It's how we balance them. It's how we use them. The integrated life is the balanced life. And when we live in balance, the balance of the needs of our body, the needs of our mind, of our creativity, of our imagination, the needs of our information, the need for knowledge, and also very much at the center is the feeding of our soul, the feeding of that spiritual aspect of our life, because that goes on for eternity. These things will pass away. In one form or another, they'll be changed or they'll simply become obsolete. Our faith, our spiritual dimension, is something that animates us in this world and really prepares us for the world to come. And so in our presentations in coming weeks, we want to seek that balance where we enjoy the good things that God has provided for us, the goods of technology and of entertainment, of sports, of the arts. We want to enjoy the development of our mind, great books that we read and enjoy and may reread again. But we always must remember the spiritual. We must be nourished in our soul. And that's really the challenge of everyday life, so that we don't get out of balance. It is that integrated, balanced life that we seek. And so in our presentations in coming days and weeks, what we want to do is to offer a path, a way to achieve that kind of balance in a very hectic and demanding world where we can be pulled in so many directions at one time. But it's the ability to unite those, to bring them together, that we achieve that inner harmony and peace that we all seek. Because once we get that peace, once we have achieved that inner harmony and balance, we find that our external world becomes more balanced and more peaceful in our home and in the larger community and the larger part of the world that we touch and navigate each and every day. So we hope in the days and weeks ahead, as we once again return to the kitchen, granted a rather untraditional kitchen, that we find some insights and some food to nourish our ways of thinking and our ways of living with one another, always with balance and always with a kind of integration, feeding and nourishing our bodies, our mind, and our soul. Then we live a really peaceful, balanced kind of life. Before we go, this is dessert, and this is a utensil we're all familiar with. It's the fork. And when we had Sunday dinner at my grandmother's house many decades ago, and especially on a Sunday after we went to church, came back, and after everyone had eaten and the utensils were starting to be picked up, we waited for grandmother to say, "Keep your fork," because we knew something wonderful was coming, dessert. And so we hope to see you in these days and weeks ahead. And there's only one requirement to come. Please, whatever you do, don't forget your fork. Bring it with you, because hopefully the best is yet to be.